Hello everyone, my name is Surtur from Slitherine and welcome to another weekly Slitherine Group Twitch stream. Today we are playing Command Northern Inferno and it has just been made available on the Matrix and Slitherine site and will very soon be available on Steam. Today we're going to give you a quick tutorial, if you will, of how to get started playing, especially for those new to the series. With us tonight in the chat here we have Dimitris, who is actually one of the or a main dev of the Command series of Warfare Sims. He'll be here in the chat trying to answer any questions you might have on the game, on the series. His knowledge of the game far surpasses my own, so he's a great source of information should you need anything that I'm not covering here, and I won't be able to cover nearly 1% of all the greatness this game has to offer. So Command Northern Inferno has been made available today. It is a standalone expansion, if you will, of Command Modern Air Naval Operations. What that means is that if you already own Command Modern Air Naval Operations, it will actually integrate into that installer, so it'll act as a DLC or as an expansion, whereas if you don't own Command Modern Air Naval Operation, it will act as a standalone game. So it is a great expansion for those who already have Command Modern Air Naval Operations, and at the same time it's a great entry point for those who are new to the series and need a bit more guidance in what they're doing. And hello everyone who just came in, welcome Whiskey, and Splunk Jammer, welcome, and good evening. So we're going to take you through one of the scenarios here, and we're going to start with the very basics of the game. So to those who are completely new to the series, Command is a game that in real time simulates modern air naval operations, and it is about as realistic as a game is going to get. So this is definitely not a game for the faint of heart. This is a game for those who want the gritty detail, who want to feel like a real commander, who want to use all the high technology toys that modern generals get to play with in combat. So again, those who are already familiar with Command Modern Air Naval Operations will immediately notice a new button over here called Campaign, and that will take you right to the campaign, new campaign that's up there, introduced with Northern Inferno. So this is actually a new thing compared to the individual scenarios that were already available in Modern Air Naval Operations. The campaign is going to take you through a series of missions with a story behind it. So we can see over here, this is the campaign that's introduced, Northern Inferno. Aside from playing the campaign, you'll also be able to play all these scenarios individually as standard scenarios. So if we hit cancel here and we go to start new scenario, we can see that the Northern Inferno scenarios are listed on their own and by number, so we can play all through them here. And what we're going to do today, we're going to take you through the first scenario, which is called Opening Moves, and it takes place on the 7th of August 1975. Now Northern Inferno covers a hypothetical scenario, or World War III scenario in 1975. So it is NATO versus Warsaw Pact, and the first scenario is going to last for can last up to 3 days. We're playing as NATO, and we're playing in the Norwegian Sea. So if we scroll down, we get a quick overview of the map we're playing. We can scroll up to the right. We get an overview of the forces we'll have at our disposal and the relevant air bases in the vicinity, and we get our introduction. So the story here is that there has been an international incident, as we can see here. Obviously NATO blames the Soviet Union blames NATO, and heightened tensions erupt, and we're going on full alert. Now notice we haven't declared war yet, but we are in a high degree of readiness and we are prepared for war. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to hit load and we're going to jump right into the scenario. Meanwhile, in the chat, if you guys have any questions, please just drop them in there and we'll try and cover them. Either Dimitris, who is one of the devs and is available in the chat there, will answer you. If I'm available, I will try and answer you as well. So we're going to hit load selected and we get our specific briefing now. So the first text was more of an introduction into what's the scenario about. Now we're getting our actual orders. So this is the situation, what's the enemy, what are the enemy forces in the area. So we know that there are a good number of Soviet submarines, including nuclear-powered submarines. and they're setting up a patrol line to the south of Jen Mayen in order to intercept NATO shipping. So we got a list of friendly forces, so we got a couple of service groups over here included with different ships. We're going to investigate them in detail in a second. We got a good number of aircraft, so we got some Orions and Nimrods. So these are the threats we'll be facing. As you can see, we're mostly expecting submarines from the Soviets, no surface combatants, no aircraft. So this is going to be an ASW mission, an anti-submarine warfare mission we're going to be playing right here. And again, to those of you who are already very familiar with the base game of Command, I might be covering stuff that's very basic compared to you. We'll have later tonight, we'll have Kushan doing a more of a expert course in Command, if you will, getting really into the detail, whereas this one is more focused on getting the introduction to people who are not yet familiar with Command and getting them up to speed as quickly as possible and letting them have fun with the game as quickly as possible. So our mission here, so the standing naval force Atlantic of NATO has been ordered to prevent Soviet submarines from entering the North Atlantic area. So we're going to patrol the area, and we are going to try and take out any Soviet submarines we can find. So we're going to hit enter the scenario over here. One other thing is this game comes with a huge patch that's also going to be upgraded. Actually, upgrade the Command Modern Naval Operations. This patch comes for free to all the existing owners, so that brings a whole lot of new features. Changelogs will be posted on the forums as soon as possible, and so that's going to help you out. At the same time, one of the new features here is the integration of some of the new tutorials done by Belugan. Many of you might know Belugan already. He did a good number of streams and videos on the game, and these are now directly accessible, and I'm going to point you toward that in a second. So we're going to apply here. So if you hit help key, so if you need help, you can hit directly to the playlist of Belugan's video tutorials over here, and you can watch them all in any order you'd like, and they'll focus on specific elements like how to do air operations, how to do boat operations, how do you do ASW. So they're a great place to start as well. So let's have a look at the game then. Here we are, and we're looking over the North Atlantic, as you can see. And as you can see, all Command scenarios take place not on a secluded map, but on the entire globe. So there's no edge of map, no artificial edging or ending of the map. So scrolling back to our own area of operations, here we are. So we got Iceland base over here. We got our patrol areas, Patrol Area 1 and Patrol Area 2. And we got a couple of bare islands. And the red zone indicates non-NATO airspace. I see, Whiskey. If you're having issues, if anyone has any issues with the stream, I'm not getting any frames dropped over here, so please try and reload your browser, see if that works. If that doesn't do the trick, try a different browser, and hopefully that should fix the issue. Unfortunately, it's most likely on Twitch's end, as again, I can't see any issues on my end. So yeah, please keep trying. If not, we will be sure to post the entire video of this actually on YouTube later on, so you can rewatch it at your own convenience. So let's have a look at the scenario. We got the patrol areas, we got our own groups over here. Now these circles indicate groups, and again, to those who are completely new with Command, this might look a bit arbitrary or abstract. You can actually choose to display the icons if you prefer that, if that helps you using the map display. And so you can show map symbols stylized if you prefer, and that's done with one single click, and we can see little ships actually as icons rather than planes rather than circles. I'm going to switch back to circles because that's what I personally prefer, but you can do however you want it. So just to get everyone up to speed here, what actually everything means we're seeing here, I'm going to turn off some of the map modes, so we're going to introduce them one by one and get everyone up to speed of what every icon indicates. So the blue icons indicate friendly units or our own units. The full circles indicate surface combatants, or surface vessels I should say, because they don't have to be combatants per se, but they are like your standard frigates, destroyers, cruisers, your standard ships essentially. If I click on one of them I get information. You see two circles everywhere here, that indicates that it's about a group, so it's more than one ship. So that indicates there's more than one ship over here. If we see a upwards semicircle, I think that's the best way I can describe it. Like we see here, it indicates everything that's above the surface, meaning that it's a flying thing essentially. So these are airplanes. So we got a Nimrod over here, and we have an Orion over here. Now, on the other hand, if we have a downward semicircle, it indicates that we're talking about a submarine. We don't see anything at the moment, but we will catch a couple very soon. So I'm going to hit start, and the first thing it's going to do is our radar and sonar are going to start working, and they're going to start picking up contacts. It takes a while for them to identify everything.
Quick update for you.
Yep.
Sorry to
Sorry for the short introduction, guys. Just get some latest news. We're still working on getting the Steam update as soon with you as possible. So for now, it's only available on Matrix and Slitherine. Notice though that if you buy from Matrix or Slitherine, we'll give you a Steam key as well. So as soon as the game comes on Steam, you can actually activate your Steam key on Steam and get your copy that way. So I started the game. We're playing in real time here, 1 second per thing. We can see our SOSIS is picking up a lot of contacts, and we don't know a lot about these contacts, but we see they're downwards facing icons, which means they're submarines. They're not identified as friendly or hostile, so they're squares rather than circles or diamonds. And we can see they got a code. A goblin is the general code. So we don't know what they are. We know that there's something underwater there. It can be friendly, it can be neutral, it can be hostile. Oh, officially there's nothing hostile yet, as officially we aren't at war. But it can also be biologic. So there could just be whales being picked up here. We can hit contact report, but we don't detect any emissions, so we don't have any idea what it could be yet. So now we're gonna start giving our orders, and our job is to find which of these contacts we got here are Soviet submarines, and then take them out, prevent them from being able to disrupt any of our shipment as soon as the war, should the war break out, I should say. So first thing I want to do, I want to have my surface vessels in a bit more safer area. Some are very close to some enemy, potential enemy submarines. So I'm going to select them, and I'm going to plot a course. I think I'm going to try and regroup them a bit first. So the way you do it is you can right click on a formation to get all the options you need. Additionally, you can hit on the unit orders button at the top when the group is selected. So that gives you it. So the plot course also equals the F3 hotkeys. Most of the game is hotkey driven, so once you get to use these, it'll actually be a lot simpler and faster to move about. At this point though, I'm going to use as much as possible without hotkeys, so you get an idea of how it's done, and you can replicate that in your own game should you want to do that. So again, I select them, I hit unit orders, and I can plot a course with, and I can click anywhere. Left click gives me a plotted course. I can select multiple courses, so I can set waypoints if I want to, do an entire thing, or I can delete it again. I'm hitting F3 here, the hotkey for moving, and plot a course southward. So we're going to plot courses away from the potential submarines to get them to safety, and at the same time what we're going to do is we're going to get our Nimrod more closer to the action. So if it's needed, he can go about doing his stuff very quickly. And why the Nimrod? Let's have a quick look at this guy. Clicking on the name of any unit brings you right to the database, and this is a huge database. It has tons of details on all kinds of military hardware that was used at the time. So if you if you can think of the hardware, it's probably in the database here. And if it's not yet, leave a request on the forums with as many details as possible, and the guys will try and patch it in for you. So we get a full information over here. I'm not again, we're doing the introductory here, so we're not going through all the details of all the different signatures, of all the different properties, of all the different performance details, etc. But it's all there if you want to, if you need to compare it. In this case, we're going to focus mainly on the armament, and we can also see that over here under the unit weapons, we got a couple of LWT Mod 2 MK46, and these are torpedoes. So we got a good number of torpedoes we can use against possible submarines. But even better, we have 2 times B-57 multi-purpose sub-bomb tactical. So we got nuclear bombs over here, and they're going to really wreak havoc on the enemy. Unfortunately, we can only carry 2 at a time. Bucky bits, still no price on Steam. No, the Steam it's unfortunately not released yet. We hope to be able to do that very soon, at least in the next couple of hours. So please bear with us. In the meantime, you can purchase already from Slitherine or Matrix, in which case you'll get a key that you can also activate on Steam as soon as it's available there. And that also gives you a Matrix or Slitherine download. So we're very sorry for the delay on that end. We're trying to get it out as soon as possible. So let's just get the time flowing and let our sonar guys start doing their work, start trying to identify some of these things. Meanwhile, we're going to have our Orion patrol a bit around the area and see if there are any targets that we want more information on by dropping some sonar buoys. So we can see stuff moving about. We can actually speed up as much as we want, or almost as much as we want, I should say. So we can go 5 times, 50 times, 30 seconds. If you keep it on real time, it's really real time. So one real life second is 1 in-game setting. So we're going to speed it up a bit, and already you can see a significant speed up in how fast the units move and move about. So while we have the game running, we're going to inspect some of our airfields. So one of the airfields we have over here to the south on Iceland is a single unit airfield, and if we click on aircraft, we can see all the aircraft that is stationed here. So we got 10 Orions, and not all of them are ready. Some are under maintenance, others are being prepared still, so they'll be ready in a good couple of hours, and some are actually ready to take off immediately. So we got 2 B-57 multi-purpose sub-bombs ready to go out. I'm not going to send them out right away. Again, we're not at war yet, and I might just send them to the wrong place, or they might actually have to get back and refuel at the time hostilities start. So it's always good to keep a couple of in reserve. But I'm going to try have at least one of these planes with with nuclear weapons against submarines ready to go at any point. Also, we got a couple of more Nimrods over here, and these are loadout for ASW patrol. And only one of them is ready. The others will be ready in about 4 hours. Then if we move over here, we got another airbase in Norway, and here we got 2 aircraft ready, or at least 2 aircraft ready. We got 2 more being under maintenance, and they're all equipped for ASW patrol, so that's very good. Actually, I think I'm going to show you guys how to send them out, so I'm going to do that right now. So we select the aircraft, the airfield, we click on aircraft to the right hand side. We open up the sub-menu for the specific aircraft we want to send out, and we're going to click launch individually. Now bear in mind that launching individually doesn't mean it's going to take off right away. First it's going to taxi to the takeoff to the runway, and then it's actually going to take off. And all these things are simulated here, so it's going to take about 2 minutes to get us into location, to get the pilot in there, etc, etc. So we'll get a notification as soon as it's up there. Yeah, there's a bit of confusion really on whether or not this game is standalone or not. So basically, this game, Norton Inferno, can be played standalone. You don't need Command Modern Air Naval Operations in order to start playing it. However, if you already have Command Modern Air Naval Operations installed, it will act as an expansion. So it is pretty much the best of both worlds, really. So, for example, we know that there are a number of people out there that said, I might find this interesting, but I can't commit to the full price of the game. This might be a great way to actually get introduced to the game, to the concept. It is it has the same simulation engine out as Command Modern Air Naval Operations, so it has the same level of detail, the same level of realism. It just doesn't have all the content that's in the full game. So we're going to speed up time a bit and see if we can start identifying some of them. As long as they are yellow, they're going to remain identified. Although, if we can see over here, whereas this one is still classified as a goblin, this one has actually been classified as an SSN. What that means is that we're pretty sure that's a submarine and not a biological creature. So let's speed up time a bit again. We can start moving our units about. So yes, if you buy just Northern Inferno and you don't have the regular command expansion, I'm just getting a message pop up over here. Then you won't get all of the content that's in the previous game, meaning that you won't get all the scenarios of Command Modern Air Naval Operations if you just buy Northern Inferno, and you won't get access to the editor, which is one of the main features of Command Modern Air Naval Operations. So in order to get to all that content, you still have to buy Command Modern Air Naval Operations. But if you want this scenario pack, there's just a great place to get started, to be honest. Then you can always later on upgrade to Command Modern Air Naval Operations and have them integrate into one build. So we just got a great message in over here, and all units assume war footing, so that means we are officially at war now. 1 hour ago, a NATO P-3C was shot down in the vicinity of Banak by Soviet MiG-23 Flogger. Any Soviet air surface or subsurface unit is now considered hostile. The use of nuclear depth charges, we got those, is now authorized. So we're going to try and identify these Soviet submarines, and we're going to drop some nukes on them. So we're moving about now. I speed up to 5 times the speed so we can see our Nimrod moving up very quickly. I'm going to redirect our unit over here to see if we can further identify it. And here we can see a couple of guys have gone green, so they've been identified as biological. And we've identified our first submarine as hostile. So let's investigate it further. So let's pause the game real quick and click on the contact report. No, not the contact report. Click on the name over here, and it'll take us to the database entry. And so here we see a picture of the submarine in questions, and it's the PLA 6278 November. So it's a nuclear-powered attack submarine. So this guy can definitely wreak some havoc on our surface fleet, as well as on any potential shipping if we don't take it out. So that's what we're going to do and take out. Now, one of the things what I'm going to show you is, even if you don't understand the full details and the full complexity of modern war, which I actually don't, in all honesty, then you can trust that the AI does for you what you want it to do. So I can tell this Nimrod, for example, to drop a sonobuoy next to the target to be sure to track it properly, and then drop the nuclear charge. Or I can just attack that submarine, and he'll find the best way to do it by himself. So let's try and do that. So I'm going to select the guy I want to move about, so I'm going to select the Nimrod over here, and I'm going to hit attack options, and we say engage targets auto. And auto means it's going to find the best way to attack that target by itself. You don't have to do that manually. You can do it manually if you want to conserve ammo, if you want to make sure it uses that specific type of ammo against that enemy, but we're going to do it automatically. And then we're going to select the November, and we can see a green line coming forth all the way. to the enemy, and that indicates that it's been identified as a target and it's going to try and engage it. Thanks, Renders. Hope you have a nice dinner. And we have another Soviet submarine identified over here, the PLA 671RT Victor. And again, if we hit the guy, if we get a photo, and we get another nuclear-powered attack submarine. So we get the max depth, and we get all this information. This is all very important if you want to find the best way to tackle them, if you want to see how they might pose a danger to you. It is beyond the scope of this screen to really dive into all the detail here. What I'm showing here is how to play the game, how to get units moving, how to accomplish your missions, and how to rely on the AI to make the choices for you. So now that we identified some of the submarines, let's get another of our anti-sub planes into the air. So I'm going to hit aircraft again, and we're going to choose the Dragons over here, multi-purpose sub-bomb, 20 kiloton nuclear. So we definitely want those. I'm going to select him, and I'm going to press launch individually so I can send them, I can micromanage them if I want to, I can give them their own orders. You can also launch them as a group, and they will then work together to succeed in any order you might give them. So let's see. So luckily, a lot of the targets are actually identified as biologics, so we don't have to bother with those too much if we don't want to. They were all potential enemy submarines, so it's definitely a good thing that they are whales instead. They pose a lot less danger. So we can hit resume again, and we identified another submarine. And we're going to send away my ship group from that. And I want to slow down a bit. It's being definitely threatened. The submarine is on course of intercepting it. So I want to adjust its course. And I want it to move as fast as it can. So I'm going to right click. And I'm going to hit the throttle altitude and depth, which can also be activated by F2. And that will let you actually send override any specific options. So I'm going to send them to flank speed now to get away from the submarine as quickly as possible. Also, we can see there's an aircraft on board. Let's see what it is. It is a Sea King, and it is a loadout for ASW patrol. So let's get that in the air. So you can see on surface groups, on ships, you can actually find the helicopters or any other type of craft that might be up there, and you can launch them and give them orders individually. And yes, like Dimitri's here is pointing out, you can actually nuke the whales should you feel like it. Does the speed of the submarine affect how easy they are detected? Yes, the sonar detection, acoustic detection, is extremely advanced in this series, and to be honest, I don't fully get all the details of it because it is very close to being realistic, which means that the speed is definitely something that impacts it, the depth has impact to it, and obviously the speed of whatever is moving and trying to identify it. So we got our planes actually lift off over here, so they're circling until they get orders. So I'm going to send them up north just for now. Then we use F3 to plot a course and F3 again to stop plotting a course. So I don't want to give waypoints, I just want to get them to the action as quickly as possible. Also, we have our ASW over here circling the airport. I'm going to scroll about, and we're going to send him to the theater as well. Again, according to the mission briefing, there wasn't a whole lot of Soviet Air Force out there, so we're not going to be too bad with that. Actually, I made a mistake here. This guy over here is not a submarine, as I was telling you earlier. This is actually an airplane, as indicated by the upward pointing diamond. Yes, Dimitri, we actually have a nuke release. we got in our previous message that the use of nuclear depth charges has been authorized. So we have our we have actually identified another one here, so let's select those that one as a target as well, and let's speed up a bit so we can actually see them doing what they have to do. So meanwhile, while I'm all doing this, the sonar guys, radar guys are all trying to identify any enemies out there. And they're doing a great job at it. We can see in the message log that a lot of troops are being identified. If you find the message logs obtrusive, by the way, you can either disable that or even move it to a different screen, so you can have that as a secondary monitor, having full action on your main monitor. That functionality is built in the game, in both Command Modern and Naval Operations, as well as Northern Inferno. So we have a submarine coming south over here. Let's see. What are you armed with? He actually is armed with torpedoes, so we might be able to try and have him engage the enemy submarine that's following its parent ship. Does it want to do that? Let's hit F1 and let it try and do its job. So here we're very close, and let's speed up quite a bit again, and we can see what it's going to do. So we can see that now it's actually dropping an active sonobuoy, and we're gonna, let me just quickly select turn on the underwater sensors. We can see them being activated now, so it's within the sensor, so we can track it well, and that means that we can properly place our depth charge. So it's probably going to use one of the two multi-purpose submarine bombs. So it's flying in, and we're zoomed in, so we see him moving very fast, very quickly, and it's dropped his depth charge over here, and it's approaching the target. And again, we're doing real time here, 1 second, and it hits, and we get a news flash, and we have got our first kill of the game, and we actually managed to not just sink a submarine, we pretty much exploded it. So we're gonna hit close and resume, and we can see a huge underwater explosion here. And meanwhile, so we spent one of our multi-purpose bomb, and we're gonna head to the second enemy. What we're doing now, however, I should point out, is we're assigning missions manually. So we let the AI choose like their own main choice of attack, but you can also generate missions or set missions for groups of units for the AI in the mission editor. So you can create one entire mission. Say I don't want to micromanage any of the units. I can then just create a patrol mission set for patrol area 1 and 2, and I can assign the planes and ships I want to assign to that mission, and they will find for themselves a way to do it based on my input. So you don't have to do everything manually if you don't want to. You can trust the AI to do a capable job of what they want to do. Yes, most certainly, weather is definitely modeled. We got a layer of clouds, actually, aircraft have to take into account. We got all kinds of weather effects in there. That's definitely part of the simulation. So meanwhile, our Nimrod's going to its second target. We got more planes. Let's select the third, which is circling the airbase at the moment. Where are you? Let's get you in close, and we're also trying to send our Sea King to engage one of these submarines. It's not, of course, as powerfully armed as our Nimrod is. It carries 2 torpedoes, so it might actually do some damage. If not, we'll just fly it back and have it refit. And thank you, Dimitris, for continuing to provide any answers as posed by the people in the chat here. For those of you who don't know, Dimitris is a main dev, a lead dev on the game, for Warfare Sims. He knows the games better than anyone else. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask him, and he'll be more than happy to provide the answer. Additionally, of course, you can find him as well as other team members on the forums, both on the Steam forums of the game as well as on the Matrix Games forums. They're there all the time. Any bug reports, send them their way, and of course they'll try and fix them in the coming patches. Now we're actually coming in close over here. So let's see how our Sea King does against the submarine. If it's able to actually hit the submarine. So it drops its torpedoes, and we can see that the torpedo itself has its own underwater sensors as indicated, so it's going to keep the enemy within that range in order to be able to track it. And the Sea King goes around, comes in for a second run. We'll probably wait with its launching its torpedo. Don't know what the first one does, and the torpedo actually hit. So our Sea King took out an enemy submarine all by its own, and we're definitely very proud of it. So we got another Goblin target dropped. Excellent. So with that done, we're gonna send our Sea King to return to base, in which case it'll create its own path back to the ship where it came from for resupply and refit, or alternatively we could send it up at another potential hostile we encountered. Let's make these guys heroes. Let's try and have them engage the enemy, and let's keep our the fleet that belongs to a bit closer to the enemy, or to the Sea King, so they can land if anything should happen. Meanwhile, we can see here our we're actually very close to the other submarine over here. We dropped the Sono Boy, and we're going to try and engage it. So it's circling back around, trying to get a good angle on it to drop its the second of its two submarine bombs. And aside from the submarine bombs, we actually have 6 more torpedoes. So they're not as effective as the bombs, obviously, but it means that they're still very capable even after they've disposed their bombs. Additionally, we have our Orions over here are also armed with torpedoes. So we got this Orion, which also is armed with 8 torpedoes. So we're going to send it up north. Hi Tony. So this game can be both is standalone. So if you don't own the main game, you definitely can play it. It doesn't require ownership of the main game. If you have the main game already, so Command Modern Naval Operations, it will install as if it were a patch. So it's both standalone as well as an expansion. And we got a Sea King engaging the enemy. We got our planes engaging the enemy, and we have another 2 aircraft coming in, carrying both 2 B-57 multi-purpose submarine bomb, nuclear bombs those are. And our second nuclear weapon has actually hit the target, and that means another Soviet submarine has been sunk, and we are doing an awesome job here. We are keeping our ship safe from the enemy submarines, although this one's now fairly close to the enemy, but we're going to try and divert it a bit away. So we got the submarine closing in from the north, whereas if I turn south completely, it will be intercepted by the PLA over here. So the expansion aspect is not free if you own CMANO. Yeah, you still have to purchase the extra content. So these scenarios we're looking at now, there are videos attached to the scenarios giving you a briefing of everything that's happening. But the game, it does come with a huge patch that is free also for the CMANO owners. So the 1.09 patch, which actually releases simultaneously with the with Norton Inferno, is free for CMANO owners, and that has a whole ton of features, and a huge changelog is attached to it. So let's get back to real time, and let's try up quickly set up a mission so you guys have a feel for how that goes. So in the mission editor, you can create your own mission, and this looks a bit daunting at the moment. We're going to take you through it step by step on how to do a mission. It's not as daunting as it looks over here. So you hit create new mission, and you can name the mission whatever you want. So we're going to name this, you can name it something resembling the mission. You can give it an operational name, so we can call this mission let's give this mission the name Surtur, and we're gonna be able to choose the class of the mission. So is it a strike mission, is it a patrol mission, a support mission, ferry mission, and these all have their own profiles that the AI will adjust to based on what the mission is. So say we want to do a patrol mission, then we got a type, so we got a subtype based on the mission class. So that's how much detail there is. So if I hit support or ferry, they're all different profiles from for the AI to follow. So an airplane on a patrol mission will behave very differently, obviously, from an airplane on a strike mission. So let's say we want a ASW patrol, which is actually fairly logical in this sense over here. You hit OK, and then this opens up. But you can see only the actual area that matters for us opens up. It's a patrol option. So do we want the 1/3 rule in effect? That indicates how many planes of the total you have assigned to it will actually activate and do their stuff. You want to investigate context outside of the patrol area, so you can tweak this, you can customize this all you want, you can set the flight size. If you have strike missions, you can set like the formation you want to give to them. All kinds of ways to tweak the mission if you wanted to, but you don't have to do it. If you leave it open or leave it as default, the AI will pick itself what is best in this case, or what it thinks is best in this case. And then you set like the patrol area. So here patrol areas has been set by the mission in advance, so you can select these, but you can very easily, as you can see, it's just been created by selecting everything, but you can very easily set your own patrol points actually. So let's go back to mission editor and let's delete this mission, just to get the green overlay here away. So if you hit mission and reference points, we can actually create reference points ourselves or define an area. So if you hit define area, you can define your own reference points, and this will then be the location for your mission. So you can very easily select a custom area. It's not bound to regions, provinces, or whatever. You can have a custom area defined wherever you want your missions to be. Even after you define the area, you can tweak that, you can send it around. Even during the mission, you can just by dragging these about, change the mission area where you want the mission to be taking place. And that's another great, easy to use, intuitive feature. And then within that mission area, the AI will take charge of the troops that have been assigned to it, the airplanes, the ships, what have you, and it will make sure that the job gets done as good as possible. So that's just a quick thing about the mission editor. Let's go back for a brief moment and let's actually assign some planes there. So we're going to create new mission. We'll call it ASW Patrol. Make it a patrol mission. ASW Patrol. Okay. We're going to set the selected patrol area, and let's add one Nimrod, and let's add some Orions. We got a lot of Orions. And we're going to turn off the 1/3 rule. And we can even set an activation time, so you can set up like 5, 6, 7 missions in advance and set the time just right for yourself to get a full coordinated attack with strike missions on one end, patrol areas on the other, support missions giving extra intel. You can have tankers, refuel planes in midair if you need to, and that's all. And the AI will all take care of that. So we're set the time to now. So we're gonna actually, the mission is now considered to be active. So the assigned planes will start doing their job based on this mission. So they'll be taking off from the airports. They'll be going to this area and they're going to start doing ASW patrol. Now, perhaps at this point, ASW patrol over here is a bit useless because this is the area we're acting in. And like I said, we can move this around and you can see directly in real time it adjusts itself. And suddenly we got a whole different area to patrol without pressing any extra buttons other than the left mouse button on the map. So that's the mission editor in a very brief overview. So if you're not completely certain on what the best role is for units, assign them to missions like that, and they will pick the right role based on the loadout of the aircraft. So if they have an ASW loadout, they'll do ASW functions. If they have a strike loadout, they'll do strike functions. And if you're not sure about the loadout, you can check from the airfield they're stationed at what kind of loadout they have. So if you check over here, for example, we can see that one is ready over here. We can see that the loadout role is ASW, so that's the profile, as it were, that the AI will work with. And again, guys, this is the introductory scenario. This is the first scenario of the Northern Inferno campaign, and the Northern Inferno campaign consists of 15 scenarios which are all related to each other, taking place in 1975. They're the same story, so they're taking you on a story with cutscenes and videos giving you more information of what's going on the background. So yes, we can actually filter out the biologics if we want to. Dimitri's saying that over here, and so we can right click, mark contact as, we can mark sniffly, or we can hit filter out, in which case we don't get any further details on them. So you can do that. Right clicking on anything will give you more options. And hi Bloody Chill, good to have you here, and I'll definitely join you for some cheeky Nando's after this. So we're going to filter out these targets. If you're asking what these circles are over here, so a while ago I activated the underwater sensors, which are the green ones over here. Now sometimes you see them over here without an icon in them. That's because this is signifying a group, and I chose to merge groups into one icon. If I had the hotkey V, it can also be out from the options menu over here. They will actually be displayed as their own icons. So you can see that there's actually one ship over here, which is where these sensors come from. Just to keep things clear, I'd like to have them merged together. So there are a whole lot of more sensors we can turn on and off over here. I turned them off briefly at the start of the scenario in order to not to overwhelm you guys. By the way, what are you doing, Ryan? Let's give you an attack order. You're carrying some torpedoes. There's a submarine nearby. Do what you're supposed to do. And we had a Nimrod over here, so it spent its tactical nuclear bombs, but it's still got some torpedoes, so let's assign a target to it. You can also see, by the way, a line going back from the sonobuoy it dropped earlier, so it's still getting information, so should everything go on in this area, it will pick it up. Hi there, Kushan, glad to have you here. For those of you who are not aware, Kushan's going to do a stream later tonight, and he's going to go way more in depth than I'm going here. So if you really want to go into detail, if this is too introductory for you, then be sure to catch his stream, and he's going to do a great job at getting all into the gritty detail of it. Over here, our Seeking actually missed its torpedo, or at least it did not destroy the enemy, and it's gonna probably return to base Winchester. Winchester meaning that it spent its available ammunition, so it's gonna return to its parent ship to rearm and resupply. So let's speed up time again a bit. Okay, see we're closing into an Zulu class submarine over here. We're not exactly sure where it is, as indicated by the red square. It could be anywhere within this region. So we're getting in close. We're going to probably need to drop a couple of sonobuoys and get more detailed intel on it. So that's what the Orion should be figuring out by itself, that that's the best course of action. We'll see if it actually does. You can ignore your plotted course. And we can see that it's plotting a course close to the enemy itself, and then it will actually drop anything there. So if we hit F2 now, we take to the course and speed menu, we can see the clouds over here. So clouds depends on weather effects, obviously, so it's below the clouds, it's very low. In order to drop the torpedoes, you can't do that from high altitude, so it's at 1,000 feet height, whereas if it were just cruising or scouting, it would obviously be on a way higher altitude. Let me grab a quick drink here, guys. And we can all manually override anything we want here. So if we say no, don't drop it from 1,000 feet, drop it from 1,500, we can try and do that. We can try and force it to do that. Thanks, Gilronger. Yes, it's a lovely cup, a peaceful cup with flowers on it. We're very peaceful people here over at Slitherine. I wish it were an Irish coffee. Unfortunately, I have to make do with just water for now. So we got more submarines over here. So we got our 2 extra planes coming in here. So we might actually want to assign them targets. So I'm going to send them to the targets over here, and I'm going to let him assign attack to these 2 to drop its multi-purpose sub bombs, its nuclear bombs over here. And sent you up north. So there's a whole number of things you can actually tweak about the way you want this to display. We already showed the different sensors you can turn on and off right here at map settings. We showed you can turn on and off data links, illumination vectors, contact emissions, plotted courses. It's currently turned off now. We can set it on only for the selected unit, for example. There's the message lock where you can mess around with it as well. One of the things, for example, you can do, we got a full message lock data here in what you actually want there to show and which one you want to be popped up. So you can tweak the type of message that's going on here. Well, let's turn this on actually. You can also have the message log display in a different window if you want, and you can also change the canvas of the message log. So we got it fully transparent now, where it completely blends in with the background. Thank you for pointing that out, Dimitris. So the other thing you can do is have it displayed in a separate window, and then you can just drag it to a different monitor. I can't show that here because it can only show one monitor at the same time to you guys. Otherwise, I would. And have that running in your parallel monitor. So for our Orion, which is on the ASW patrol mission we assigned to it, already automatically sees the targets within its area and is going to engage them. So this is done, unlike the other planes we send out, not by me, but by the AI, because we assigned them on the ASW mission within this area. So that's how the AI works. Yes, Bucky Bits, that would definitely be nice to be able to do. That's correct, FTB2. SOSUS is modeled in this scenario, and that's how I got all these contacts in the beginning. So we got all kinds of stuff being modeled here, and it depends on the scenario and on the scenario maker in how much detail they actually want to go. So let's speed up again a bit, and as we can see here, we actually are engaging again trying to get to pinpoint the location of the submarine here, and we still got eight torpedoes on it. I'm gonna speed up a bit and try and pinpoint it, but it's very elusive. This particular. So let's try and drop another active sonobuoy and see if we can find it. The difference, of course, between passive and active sonobuoys is that the passive ones don't actually emit any waves themselves. They're just listening, as it were, whereas the active ones are sending out signals and then checking them for the return. I should have dropped it above the layer. You're very correct there. My bad. And what we see actually here is quite kind of interesting. You're unfamiliar with this icon. This is actually a Soviet satellite that's flying over. So we got those in game as well. We're in the 70s, so the satellites aren't as advanced as they would be now, obviously, but they can provide information. As for the mod scene, there's a very active mod scene in the sense that for Command Modern Naval Operations, which unlike this one actually comes with the full editor, the community is creating so many different scenarios and missions, etc. that can be downloaded from the website database. So there's if you buy Command Modern Naval Operations, in addition with Northern Inferno, you get a huge amount of scenarios to play. And most of these scenarios in CMANO, so Command Modern Naval Operations, can be played from multiple sides as well. And some of the community members are definitely making great scenarios. So much so that a lot of them actually been integrated into the official builds. So let's speed up again a bit. Let's see if our so we dropped an active sonobuoy over the layer now, and that should help it. It's having trouble turning because of the speed of the aircraft, but that should help him a bit. In addition, we got Nimrod close over here. So this is the one that already spanned its tactical news, but it's got still some torpedoes left to chum out, and we got the other two still en route. And we have some more dragons en route, which have actually been ordered by the automatic mission that I generated a while ago to investigate the targets. So let's speed up a bit and wait for these guys to arrive at their targets, and in the meantime see if our Nimrod over here is able to take on the Whiskey submarine with its torpedoes rather than its nuclear depth charges, which is used earlier. So it drops the sonobuoy and it launches the torpedo immediately. Or is it? Wait, we got somewhere else actually. Where was that explosion? Ah yes, our awesome Orion managed to grab the target finally. It took a while, but I managed to find a good approach, spending a torpedo. I just got 6 when I checked a while ago, and we see an explosion, and we got a confirmed kill. So let's see if we can get another one right here. And again, guys, if you're missing some of the stuff, if you only catch some a bit of the stream, the full stream will be posted on YouTube as well, so you can rewatch it there, as well as on this channel, this Twitch channel, in the profile, so you can rewatch the video. The chat unfortunately won't be able to reread that, so I'm trying to read out loud any answers Dimitri's and the other guys from the development team are giving here. So we can see our Nimrod is turning, coming back into it, pinpointing the location, or at least trying to, and hopefully being able to drop. We can see it is already almost halfway about its fuel though, so that might be an issue. And here we can see the torpedo being launched, and this particular torpedo, we can see again the sensors, the underwater sensors over here, and they have to grab a hold of the Whiskey class submarine, and once they've done that, point toward it and take it out. So it has found it, it's pinpointed. We can see the square has disappeared. We know exactly where it is now. It is being tracked by the torpedo, and we're going to see, and we're going to watch the torpedo close in. As you can see the speed, we can see the bearing, we can see the height, so it's dropping to 160 feet. How deep is this? This is 165 feet, so this is dropping quickly, trying to evade the torpedo by going down. So the torpedo itself is going down as well, and it's already to 180 feet underwater. So it is matching the height of the torpedo of the enemy submarine completely. And we're going to see if we can get the hit on, and if not, we're carrying a couple of more of these guys, so we're just going in for the second strike. And again, we can pause and speed up at any moment, getting a overview of the map. You can even record and rewind if you want to. There are so many options here that allow you to play in different ways. Like I said, we have the automatically generated mission as I've done before, as well as the manual missions I'm sending out. And our torpedo actually made the hit, made the connection, and we can see the explosion indicator indicating that the Goblin has been removed as a target and the Whiskey submarine has been sunk. So another great joy, a great victory. So this guy, we got the other planes coming up with the missions to take out the others. So this guy we're going to let return to base and try and rearm its tactical depth charges. Should need those later. So we're going to hit return to base and ultimately go back to his home base. Alternatively, you could also indicate a different home base and set return to base. So if another aircraft or airbase might be closer, you can actually have them sent there if you want to. There's so much freedom in this game that it's, again, it's impossible to cover even 1% of everything we got to offer with the command series. But I'm trying to do that anyway. But I'm trying to keep it simple for you guys to understand, for you guys to follow, and for you guys potentially to replicate if you're starting out with this series. So let's speed up a bit more. We can see we're actually trying to engage a submarine over here at the very edge. So we dropped the sonobuoy with it. We don't have the nuclear depth charges, but we do have a couple of torpedoes, but they're obviously a bit trickier to get just right, and the angle of approach has to be just right, and with a moving sub that's not always easy to do. So that's what we're trying over here. And meanwhile, I'm adjusting some of the courses of our naval troops. But we got a whole bunch of planes. We got 5 planes coming in, all with similar missions on there. So this guy's ordered to take out these 2 submarines with his depth charges. I think we're going to assign you manually to these 2, sharing the load, and together they should take out 4 of the 5 remaining targets we have. Here actually we got a couple of planes that aren't doing anything anymore. Well, they still carry some things because they're unassigned, as you can see, status. So why not have them try and take out some of the enemies? They still got plenty of fuel left, and they might actually speed things up a bit. At the very least, they'll give the submarines a bit of a scare. Do I need to worry if the update didn't arrive yet on my Steam account? No, you don't need to worry. We're in the process of making it live, so please bear with us a bit longer for the Steam version. For the non-Steam version, it should already be up there, already be downloading, but we're getting it to you as fast as we can. So we can see here our brave Sea King that actually took out, that engaged 2 submarines, took out one of them, is almost returned. These guys definitely get a medal. So see how fast I can make the game go. I'm speeding up 30 seconds now, 50 seconds, 5 seconds. So our Sea King just landed here, and that's actually might be quite interesting to see the status of it. So it's ready again. It's landed. It's now being rearmed, refueled. It's going to take some serious time. There's going to be a debrief. There's going to be a rebrief for the next mission. So that's going to take some time. There is there is the quick turnaround option, and that's going to simulate the very fast turnarounds of the planes. But that's going to decrease the effectiveness of the crew involved over time. Obviously, it's extremely exhausting to be able to do that. You're actually asking more of them than they can give, and in a crisis situation, yes, you will definitely do that. In this case, however, I don't think it's needed. I'm gonna let them rest a bit. They deserved it. We got other planes going out to take out the targets. We took out all the targets close to our surface groups first, so they're not in no immediate danger anymore, and I think our situation is looking very favorable here. And we are actually engaging and hitting, as we can see from the type over here, the enemy submarine, but it is not sinking yet. We see that we got some penetration achieved, but it's still operational, so it's definitely damaged. But it's not taken out yet. We're going to keep trying, though. We're going to keep trying to find the right angle to engage. Hitting it is already quite impressive. And we're very close to an enemy over here. And again, we don't have the tactical nuclear charges. We got 5 MK46 LWT Mod 2 torpedoes. And if we want more information on them, we can just click on them and get full intel. We're flying over. We're dropping the torpedo, and the torpedo is a miss, and we can see the full breakdown of what's actually happening over here, the hit percents, the modifiers if there are any in place, like the cruise kill, the movement, and we actually managed to take out another submarine while I wasn't watching. Let's close. Let's see where that was. If it was the submarine just south here, yes. So the Orion finally managed to take it out. It took a good number, I think 4 out of its 8 torpedoes to take it out. Nonetheless, a great job. I actually got another buoy over here. So let's see if we should try and take that out first. We don't know the exact location, and we need to get our service group out of the way. Meanwhile, we got another submarine. They're falling really quickly now. Yes, our Dragons managed to get our torpedoes out there. These guys are still flanking away, but you can see that because they're going full speed, some of the group members are getting left behind. Most notably the F300 Oslo class, and again we can get more information over here for some of the big ships. We got the pictures out there giving you a great image of what they are. We got surface combatant, a frigate, we got the different armors on the different locations, and all of this is simulated. Individual components can be damaged. There is so much here that really, some people just buy this for the database alone, to be honest, to be able to browse all these different systems. The first thing I did when I got it was look up all the details from my own country, from the Netherlands, and all the ships, all the airplanes, they're all there for the different eras, the different time zones. So we got like the Cold War database and the modern database, and they're all there. The contact was dropped, unfortunately, but it appears now again, and it's very close to our guys, and they're trying to run, but I'm not sure they're going to make it. So I might be able to order them to actually attack it, but I don't think they have the weapons to do so. Let's have a look. They're mostly surface combatants. They got a couple of generic depth charges, but I don't think they will do much good. So it's really up to Dragon here. He's gonna have to drop some Suno boys close to it. No, continue going. So let's just quickly drop the other targets. I'm gonna use the E key for that. You can also do it manually by getting the right click menu open or hitting the unit orders over here. Oh yeah, it's a plane, of course. Thank you. I keep messing that up. I'm so focused on submarines at this point, which is why it's also moving so fast as it's doing, which is also why I can't actually engage it with my surface group, which don't have the proper anti-air weapons available. It's a TU. I should have read that. I'm sorry. I hope you forgive that talking and playing at the same time. Might be a bit tricky. So we're going to engage it again. Cheers, Kushan, and all of you. Kushan's going to do a stream later on, so be sure to watch that as well, as he's going to get in a lot more detail than I'm currently able to do. So we got more ships doing nothing now. Unassigned, so let's have you return to base. We only got 2 torpedoes left anyway, which is probably not enough to take anything out, so we're going to return to base. We have only 3 identified submarine targets left, very close to one of them. We got 8 torpedoes loaded. We're going to drop the sonobuoy. And we're going to hit, and our first torpedo actually achieved 48% penetration. And we're going to go in for the second run. So that's one of them, so that's already being engaged. Here we're approaching the other submarine. And again, SOSUS is giving us a great locations for these guys. And we're taking out the final ones, hopefully very soon. Drop the sonobuoy. And again, it's the AI doing most of the work here. I can't do everything I'm doing now manually, choosing manually when to do stuff. But it's the AI knowing itself perfectly well what to do. The AI is much more capable actually than I am. And we hit another submarine, and that actually means that the scenario is now concluded, and we get to see an evaluation. So we hit a triumph over here. We got a final score of 800, which for the campaign game would mean I would advance to the next mission. So that would be enough. We can get a full scoring log seeing of the stuff that's happened. In this case, the taking out of the submarines. We can actually continue to play on if we'd like to and take out the final submarines. And we can see a breakdown of the size over here of the losses and expenditures. So this is what the enemy lost. So we got 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 submarines that sunk. And on our end, we haven't suffered any losses. We did use up a lot of equipment here. So we got a lot of torpedoes being fired. We got the 3 nuclear bombs being thrown, being used. So it took some it took some stuff to get them out, but we managed to do it, and especially good job AI for using the right weapon at the right time, allowing me to do it automatically. Most importantly, however, none of the biologics have died, so all the wheels survived this engagement, although there might be some after effects for those swimming through the nuclear areas. So this was just the brief overview. Unfortunately, we're out of time to do anything more. Again, this was a brief introduction, a brief overview of Command & Northern Inferno, which is out right now on Matrix and Slitherine and coming very soon on Steam. You can buy it on Matrix and Slitherine and get a code to activate on Steam as well, should you want it. On the other hand, if you buy on Steam, you'll also get a serial code to register your key at Matrix or Slitherine, should you want to. This is all optional, you don't have to do it. The game doesn't force you to do Steam. But it is there for those who want it. Both the Steam and the non-Steam version get the same amount of patches and support, etc. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative, even though it was a fairly introductory level. And I hope that that we'll see you again next week when we get a different stream. And all of you who want more, be sure to catch Kushan's stream later, as he will take you into more depth and more detail and more gritty scenarios. Thank you very much. We'll hope to see you again, and please drop by the forums and drop any feedback you have on the game, on the stream, and we'll be sure to improve, and we're listening and to any opinion you might have. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.